Measurement is the process of assigning numbers and units to particular features of objects or events. The number and the unit together constitute the measure of the object or event. A dimensional quantity refers to the particular feature of the object or event that is measured. We will learn three fundamental properties and their associated dimensional quantities that behavior analysts measure. These are temporal locus, temporal extent, and repeatability, which can also be referred to as countability. Temporal extent is derived from the fact that every response occupies time. Duration is the dimensional quantity associated with temporal extent. We can measure how long a behavior takes place. Duration is the amount of time in which behavior occurs. We measure duration when the behavior of interest occurs either for too long or too short of a period of time, such as screaming for an hour or staying on task for no more than a minute. Duration can also be measured for behaviors that occur at high rates, such as flapping or rocking. When measuring duration, the observer may use a stopwatch by starting the timer when the behavior begins and stopping the timer when the behavior ends. Duration can be influenced by how well the behavior is defined. Consideration should be taken to ensure that observers understand when the target behavior ends and how you'll know when to begin the time a new occurrence. There are two ways duration can be measured: total duration per session and duration per occurrence. Total duration per session is the cumulative amount of time in which a person engages in the target behavior. If we wanted to assess the total duration in which a child is engaged with a peer during a 45-minute class period, we would simply start a timer when the child begins to engage with peers and pause the timer when engagement ceases. Then we'd start it again when they begin to re-engage with peers. So let's say over the course of a 45-minute class period, the child was engaged with peers for a total of 15 minutes. We would report this as a percent of time in which the child was engaged. That is, 15 minutes of engagement divided by the 45-minute class period. We would report this as the child was engaged with a peer for 33% of the class period. Duration per occurrence is a measure of the duration of time that each instance of the target behavior occurs. For example, let's say a child frequently plays with a fidget toy during class, and we wanted to look at the average time that they were playing with this toy. So each time the student picks up the toy, you're going to start your stopwatch, and when the child puts the toy down, you would stop the stopwatch, and then you would record that duration. For every instance in which the child plays with the toy, you're going to start and stop the stopwatch. This data would be reported as a mean or an average. So let's say that the child played with the toy for 30 seconds, and then they played with the toy for 2 minutes, and then they played with the toy for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We would then add the total duration, which is 5. So that's 30 seconds plus 2 minutes plus 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And divide it by the number of occurrences in which the behavior occurred. So the child played with the toy 3 times. We would report this as the student played with the fidget toy for an average of 1 minute and 40 seconds.